So this is Ofori, the digital reader, and this is my first battery life challenge. And basically what I'm doing in the battery life challenges is I'm going to go through all my digital reading devices and I'm going to read on them. I'm going to try my best to read every day for at least an hour, and I'm going to keep track of how many days it takes me to finish a book, what the battery life was when I started the book and when I ended the book, and also how many hours I actually read to complete the book. And then I'm gonna go from 100% to 10%, and as time goes on I'll kind of keep track of those results. I should note that I'm usually going to pick the best time, because when it comes to digital reading devices, one thing I've found is that powering them on and off can be a big battery drain. So if I read in a lot of short sessions, it drains the battery a lot more than if I read in a couple long sessions. So that's kind of intro. The first device I'm gonna be doing the battery challenge on is the device I actually use the most and my favorite device, which is the PocketBook Inkpad 3 Color. So the first book I read once I charged the Inkpad 3 Color to 100 is Red Seas Under Red Skies by Scott Lynch. That was a 570-page book. I started at 100%, and when I finished the book, I was at 71% power. I read for a total of 14.25 hours, and it took me 10 days to finish the book, so I read for 14.25 hours over a span of 10 days. The next book I read was Republic of Thieves by Scott Lynch, and that was 574 pages. The power was at 69% when I started and at 36% when I finished. It took me 13 days to complete that book, and over the course of the 13 days I read for a total of 14.3 hours. And then I read Your Table is Ready by Michael Chechi. That was 250 pages. And the power was at 36% when I started reading that book, and it was at 10% when I finished reading that book. Actually 9%, but I'm rounding up a bit. And over the course of 5 days, I read for 6 hours to complete that. I didn't complete the book, but I finished 250 pages of it. So actually the book wasn't 250 pages of it. I read 250 pages before it hit 10%. So over the course of 5 days, I read for 6 hours. So looking at the totals, the total for everything, the total battery life, the device lasted me 28 days, and over those 28 days, I read for 34.45 hours. I feel like anything over 30 hours is great battery life for an e-reader. Once I kind of give the total battery life, at the end of every video, I'm also going to keep a running tally of all of my devices and their battery life. So for this is the first device, the PocketBook Inkpad Color 3, but I'll keep a running tally of all my devices so you can kind of see how they stack up. I got the iPad Air, I have some no-name Android devices. Hopefully I might get some more devices down the road, but this is the first battery life challenge. I hope if you like numbers, this was interesting to you. Any questions, give me a holler. This is Ofori, the digital reader.